recently European Union have made changes in the validity of COVID vaccine certificate. So your certificate validity might have changed or might be considered as unaccepted or invalid if you are not meeting some criteria which have been newly declared, and they are in effect from February starting 2022. So if you do not want to be surprised, stay with me for another minute. Okay, so as we know, European Union have EU digital certificate in place, through which if you want to travel across European Union, any country, you just have to have a EU pass which will have declaration of whether you are vaccinated or not and the status. So it is giving you free movement across the European Union, and that's quite old, we all know. Now coming to the travel guidelines, since we all know that India was considered to be in a red high risk area since end of almost January. As we can see here, India being in red list area since 23 Jan. So we have some additional maybe quarantine based on your vaccination status that's in place still as of now. Moving on, so European Union came together to make a decision on vaccination validity, since there was a recent research which suggests that the effectiveness of COVID vaccine get reduced as time passes. So now let's say if after vaccination of let's say 6 months, they might make a mandate of booster dose, or you might be considered as vulnerable, or you will not even be considered as vaccinated at all if you do not have that recent past vaccination. So now the time have been reduced to 9 months, which was previously different. Now, so starting February 1, 2022, if you have vaccination of more than 9 months previous to that, you will not be considered as vaccine. So be careful before you move with your travel plan. So this is how the vaccination look like. So different countries have different days on which they consider to be vaccinated. So let's say for Germany, they have 270 days which is to be considered for vaccination certificate, and obviously different medicines. So these details quite change from time to time, so be mindful of that. Now, so if you are confused, don't be, we have summary here. Now if you are talking about vaccination and booster dose, so if you are COVID-19 vaccine with approved medicine within last 20 to 70 days, you will be exempted from the additional quarantine measures and you will be considered as vaccinated and safe. Now if you have taken a max COVID vaccine which is of older than 270 days, then you will be considered as unvaccinated for Germany specifically, unless you have taken a booster dose. So that's one thing. Now talking about the recovery certificate, if you have recently recovered and the period is only within 90 days, then you are considered as recovered and you do not have to show any additional data. But if you have been recovered post 90 days, then you will be considered as not safe, and probably you need to have a booster or something like that based on your vaccination status. So previously this was 180 days, now it is 90 days. So if you are traveling or planning your travel, be sure to have this data ready with you, because you might get some unplanned surprise, and with that surprise you might have some additional expenditure to take care. So be mindful of that. Stay safe. Thanks.